Well, if you're looking for a career change or a pay rise, now might be a good time to do it with job vacancies at a record high. SEEK's latest employment report shows the number of ads in April was up 3% on the previous month. And as bosses try to retain workers, it's seen pay rates surge in some industries. Manufacturing, transport and logistics saw the highest salary growth, up 33% since 2019. So if you're an employee, how can you make the most of it? Well, joining me now is professional influence expert Drew Knowles. Thanks so much for coming on, Drew. All right, so we know the labour market is tight. So does that mean we can just charge on in and ask for a pay rise?
Definitely not, I would say. I think if you're too entitled to thinking you should have a pay rise just because this is the right time in the market, it could actually risk you not actually getting what you want, and even potentially damage your reputation with your employer if you just act too entitled to a pay rise. Okay,
so you don't want to go and say, look, I saw on Newshub late last night I should be getting a rise. How do you go about asking then? What's the right way?
Well, it is a pretty tough conversation to have. And there's a lot of ways to explore this, but I would, say to anybody, the first thing to do if you're considering asking for a pay rise is to spend a bit of time and get really clear on what your true value is to your enterprise or your organization. At the end of the day, an employer, a manager, a boss is going to try and figure out if the money you're asking for is going to equate to some increase, in the business, in some aspect of the business, or productivity in the business. So it's really important to really know what is your true value and what is it you're actually able to offer before you go in and do that. And I'd say the simplest way is just to set up a meeting once you've done a lot of that thinking around your value and actually, have that discussion.
So do you have to go on with a number in mind, or do you go on with an open mind? And if so, where do you find that number?
I would say going in with a number in mind would be the best way to go, depending on the relationship with the employer. And depending on, there's all sorts of ways, Ingrid, you can look at, how much in your industry you're worth and all of that. But personally, I think a much better way to go about it is to really think about what do you want, as in how much additional money would, make a difference to you and why. And then start to really look at, can I go to my boss or my employer and actually evidence that, and this might be a weird way to say it, Ingrid, but that I'm a $20,000 or $30,000 solution for some problem or something that the business needs.
It is a pretty hard conversation, though, to have, especially as a Kiwi. Just quickly, how do we get over that?
Well, one of the things I often say to people is you don't need confidence if you know your own competence. Okay. And what I mean by that is when you're competent, Ingrid, and you are really grounded in what can I offer, what are my skills, what's my specialized knowledge, and it's factual, then you don't need to figure out how do I be confident to ask for a raise. And often I'll tell people to go do an inventory of their true value, which is sitting down and writing down on a piece of paper everything you've accomplished, kind of your career to date, the roles you've done, the abilities you've got, the skills, the knowledge, like everything you can.
That is all great advice. I'm going to have to stop you there, Drew. Thank you for that. Well, I've been taking notes. Thanks for your time tonight.
Great. Thank you so much.